All right, great. Um, First question: how many of us were part of the previous session that just ended? A show of hands. Okay, so not everyone. All right. Um, Sorry. Okay, sorry. I think I should put this on so that I can be certain that everyone can hear me. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ismail Salami. I'm a principal account cloud engineer with Oracle. I hope you can all hear me clearly. All right. And we're going to be talking about the intelligent enterprise, right? How this is reliant on data, cloud, and operations. How do you combine all of this to deliver an intelligent enterprise, right? Whether you work with an enterprise or we work in an organization that actually delivers services to an enterprise, right? How does Oracle help you to achieve this? So that's basically what this presentation is about, really. So we're going to be looking at Oracle. How many people here know about Oracle? Show of hands. All right. I usually this is an interesting way to deliver. I've not delivered a session with one of these headsets before, but I usually like an interactive, vibe. So it's not a panel where, we just talk like the last one and then, you guys just listen. So it would be nice to also have people, say. So I'll just ask, anyone can just tell me from your view, what does Oracle do? Anyone? Show of hands. Who wants to tell me what you know about Oracle? Take a stab at it. All right. Sorry, what's your name?
Flourish. Okay, so from my understanding, Oracle provides the data infrastructure, the infrastructure to run, build your mobile apps, your databases, everything.
All right, great. So the response was Oracle deals around data and then infrastructure for the data, right? Run your application services. Anybody else has a different view or anything to add?
So Oracle also have HCM, right, for enterprise to manage their human resources, basically. Yeah, thank you.
All right, great. Awesome answer, right? So that's also one of the things that Oracle does. Anybody else? One more person so that we don't finish our time trying to find out what Oracle actually does. All right. So just tell me your name and then your response.
My name is Abidemi. Oracle is basically a cloud-based infrastructure that help a business make their work easier for them.
Awesome. I mean, this is just perfect, right? Because we just got three different answers that actually speak to three different things that Oracle actually does, right? So first person talked about data, right? Which, if you're part of the previous session or you know anything about AI and intelligence and modernizing your organization, right? Data is basically what underpins all of that, right? If anybody disagrees, you can put your hand up, but data is basically what underpins this. That means that if your data is faulty, everything else that runs on top of it becomes faulty, including your AI, all the wonderful, chatbots, AI chatbots and everything that you have will give you erroneous, responses. Second one, was around, somebody talked about HCM, which is, delivering, human resources, right? So that's part of our portfolio, which you would see, right? And then there was a talk around cloud, right? Helping you to use cloud to deliver all different services that you want to deliver, helping your organization achieve all your goals, right? And then you see how Oracle actually does that. So let's move to the next slide very quickly. Okay, all right. So what does Oracle actually do? Oracle powers our life today. Now, for a lot of people, you really don't see Oracle on the surface, right? But I can tell you, every day that you leave your house, you do certain activities today, even in Nigeria, you're actually utilizing Oracle without even knowing it, right? So if you look down here, you would see Uber. How many of us here took Uber to this event today? Okay, let me ask a very simple question. How many of us here has used Uber at some point or the other? So the people here that drive G-Wagon, so they don't use Uber. But it's okay, it's fine. The point is that you use Uber, you've interacted with Oracle. If you've ever been to a Marriott. I can even add on top of this, if you ever eaten at Burger King, right, in Nigeria, just as for instance, you've interacted with Oracle without actually knowing. So what do I mean? For instance, at Burger King, the POS machines and everything, the systems that they actually use for their billing is based on Oracle, right? FedEx, you've sent packages back and forth. There's so many other use cases that you find out that you're using Oracle without actually knowing. And then it cuts across all of these different use cases that you've talked about. So these are intelligent enterprises that are using Oracle technology today. So let's move forward. Okay, so what has Oracle done? We've built a technology foundation that allows you to support innovation, right? Any organization existing today, right? You either innovate or you die. So what do you mean? You're looking for better ways, faster ways, cheaper ways of doing things, right? More effective ways. That's the only way for you to be a business that is growing, right? So, because if you're not growing, you're dying as an organization. And that is what Oracle has done. We've created the foundation to ensure that organizations are able to achieve this. So, what does Oracle actually do for you, and how does Oracle actually provide all of these services? This is a very high level overview because, of course, this session is only for a limited amount of time. I'll just try to go very quickly, right, over what Oracle provides to show you that Oracle, provides services or solutions that cut across everything that you're trying to do from a tech perspective. So we have our Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Permit me to use the term OCI loosely during this conversation. Now, what does OCI entail? We're providing everything from SaaS, right, software as a service, to infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, and then we provide all the infrastructure that carries all of this. So if you look at the very bottom here, you see what we call a distributed cloud. So Oracle has existed even before the cloud. Of course, we know that the cloud is the basis for accelerating the adoption of AI, right? Who can tell me why the cloud is important when it comes to AI? Anybody? All right.
Since that is where deployment coming out from. Deployment.
Yeah, so if you put it that way, yes, deployment. Of course, what makes cloud special, right? Okay, yeah.
Scaling.
All right, perfect. Scaling. So the question is, you want to deploy AI. AI, you require GPUs, you require very high-speed networks and the rest, right? Do you want to buy all of these equipment and create your own data center? No, it's not cost effective, right? So that is where cloud becomes very important, because that allows you to scale and utilize services, manage your cost, and basically grow your organization as the needs arise. So what we've done with Oracle Cloud is we've created cloud that allows you to use it how it suits your business, right? Cloud for us is not just sitting in the public cloud. So we have public cloud or commercial cloud options. We also have the options that for organizations that have maybe data residency requirements. There are some of us here that might be working with maybe government institutions or financial institutions where they are very particular about where their data is, right? Or there's regulatory bodies that are mandating them to keep their data in certain areas. So for that, we have private cloud or hybrid cloud solutions where you're able to scale, scale as required, have very strong availability, but then that is also available for you to use within your preferred data center. We also have multi-cloud agreements with other leading hyperscalers, right? AWS, GCP, Microsoft, and then we're able to allow you walk across these different cloud environments. So that will give you like serious resiliency in case your environment has an issue. Now, on top of that, of course, we have all the different applications and services that you can utilize, of course, including AI. So the infrastructure is there. And then on top of that, we also now have our applications, our SaaS applications, right? So like our ERP, right? Enterprise Resource Planning application, right? Supply chain management, HCM, which is what the gentleman over there mentioned around HR, right? Customer experience. And then we also have specific industry applications that are built for specific industries, right? And then we support an environment where you can build custom applications and services. Now, what makes us particularly unique is with this, you can deploy whatever applications or services that you're looking at, whether it's AI or non-AI, core banking, whatever it is you can think of. We have the infrastructure for you to deploy all of these services. So moving forward, we also support, it's a very open platform, supports using different tools. Now we know that new tools will always come, new services will always come that you can utilize. But Oracle has created a platform that is very open. For any of us that are in tech here, you obviously see a number of logos here that you know, right? Whether it's infrastructure as code, or you're looking at open source databases, we support all of that, of course, including our own proprietary platforms. So it's a very open platform. Now, with all of this, we give flexibility for you to be able to achieve your organization's objectives. There's over 200 cloud services, right? And they keep growing, that are available on the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, today. We allow you to run the Oracle database, which you would see the value that the Oracle database delivers, especially when it comes to AI and the likes. And then we can integrate with any app, any data across, whether it's your existing environment or you're looking to build new applications or services. So whether you're a startup, right, or you're an existing organization, so organizations have been existing well before now that have maybe applications or services on premise and you're looking to adopt the cloud, Oracle has a solution for you, right? It's a platform that is globally consistent. We have pricing that cuts across whatever region it is you're going to use, the same pricing, which is different from what you'd experience with other hyperscalers. So regardless of whatever region you choose to set up your environment, you will have the same consistent pricing. And then when it comes to enterprise AI, right, you can deliver that at your own terms. Now, one thing about enterprise AI, who can tell me some of the major challenges that you think enterprises have when it comes to adopting AI? Yeah. Okay, let me ask.
Okay, one of the challenges I believe big enterprises have when it comes to AI is the issue around data governance and privacy.
Thank you. So security. If you're going to put it in a nutshell, security. All right. Okay, same problem. Anybody else? Anybody else wants to say? Yeah.
Overhead cost is one bottleneck I feel enterprises will have when they're trying to adopt AI.
Perfect. That's another very huge one, right? So a lot of people a lot of enterprises that have looked at adopting AI have found out very quickly that cost can become a very real problem, right? So the security and then cost is also a very real one that comes up, because you create the pilots, it's wonderful. If you listen to the previous speakers, right, they talked about the executives, the management has bought into it. They run the pilots. Okay, now we want to deploy it to 10,000 users. Then the English now starts, right? So how do you put yourself in a position where deploying this becomes very, very smooth? So we know this. AI changes everything. We've talked about how AI is going to change the way we work. AI is obviously going to make some jobs become obsolete altogether, right? I always tell people the story. Over 40 years ago, my mom was a confidential secretary. Does anybody know anything about shorthand? All right, awesome. Yeah, my mom actually traveled to the UK to learn shorthand at a place called Pitman's College. So you can imagine how big shorthand was then. Has anybody, gotten a job in shorthand today? Or is everybody looking forward to that? What about typing? Typewriters. Oh yeah. Well, guess what? So confidential secretaries don't exist any longer today, right? But what is a PA? All right, but we know PAs exist. Human beings are actually PAs. In fact, just a funny joke. Can you imagine how many PAs some of our government officials have? Right, some of them have 50 PAs, 100 PAs, right? So let me now ask a question. What do you think happens to the role of a PA with the way AI is going? Okay, all right. But I'm not the one that said it. Anyway, so the point is that even if the PA role goes, chances are there's going to be another role that will evolve from that. So that fear of, oh, I'm going to lose my job. The question is, something is going to come up. Are you going to position yourself for that role or not? That is why we're here, right? Are you going to be the one to take AI, evangelize it within your environment, create those new opportunities, and actually reap from it, or are you just going to sit and let AI come and decide your future for you? I mean, we all have that choice. We need to decide which position we want to be, right? So AI changes everything, and I mean, at Oracle we understand that very well, and because we understand that, we built AI into our entire stack. Everything that we do, right, has AI in it, right? I've talked about the fact that we have apps, right? We have apps on our applications today, on our ERP, our supply chain management solution, HCM. We built in AI. The AI, chatbots that are there, that processes that, out of the box, you can actually do things there. Our AI platform services, obviously, we have that also too. So you don't need to have our own apps, but you want to build AI, right? You want to utilize, which you would see, different LLMs. You want to use Grok. You want to use ChatGPT. You want to use Gemini, right? You can use all of that on the OCI environment. Easy peasy, very, very smooth experience that you would have, right? Underneath that is the data. Oracle, as an organization, we've been handling the world's most important data, Fortune 500 companies, right? Even in Nigeria here today, I can tell you that if you use a bank, which is a very funny question because everybody here uses a bank one way or the other, but if you use a bank, which I know you do, right? You've interacted with Oracle. For the simple fact that you transfer money, you have, any of those banks, the ones that start with F, with U, with G, with A, with Z, they all use Oracle technology, especially when it comes to their data. Now, this is what underpins everything else that happens on top of it. And we've built in AI into that layer also too. How do you bring all of this data together? Because organizations are generating so much data, right? There's data from customers, there's data from in-house applications, there's data from social media and all of that. And then you want organizations to be able to take action, right? Using the accurate data. What happens if you take action just from data on just one particular source and you miss out others? Is it going to be accurate? I don't know. Nobody's answering me. Is it going to be accurate? All right. So we built AI into there to be able to get the best out of it. And then, of course, the AI infrastructure. Someone mentioned around security, right? And the AI infrastructure itself is another key part when you talk about security, right? You need to build security into all of this. So what has Oracle done particularly? I'm just going to gloss over this because this is actually a very loaded slide. I'll probably need today's session is 30 minutes. I'll probably need more than 30 minutes for just this slide alone. But this is basically Oracle's AI infrastructure and services portfolio, right? And you can see that everything from the underlying infrastructure itself to the data to the AI platform services and of course our applications, like I said, we built in AI into every single thing. So what do I mean? In terms of the infrastructure, right? We have, of course, everybody says they have GPUs. They can provide you GPUs which you need. But we've gone a step further. We also have super clusters, what we call super clusters. These are dedicated infrastructure, right, for an organization. What happens most times when people get GPUs is you're sharing infrastructure. If you're not sharing the processing power itself, you're most likely sharing the network. Now, if you're on a network, what is the security risk that you have if you're sharing a network with someone? Anybody saying that? You can get exposed. Just to bring it to a very layman's term, right? If you've ever been on your network or Wi-Fi in your house, and then you just see that somebody's trying to connect to your exactly right. So that's what happens when you're on the same network, right? What we've done is we've created superclusters with dedicated RDMA networks, where very serious organizations that are very particular about the kind of security that they have can have their own dedicated network, high-speed network, and they can train their models, they can deliver it, and that ensures that there's security at that layer. So you can start from single GPUs and the rest, and then scale up to that depending on what you're trying to do. So that question around delivering AI to large enterprises from just the pilot, now you can see how that is being answered by this, right? On top of that, the data itself, we have our Oracle 26 AI, which is our Oracle database that has different AI capabilities built into it. So that's machine learning. That's also vector search. Has anybody heard about the term vector search before? Show of hands. Okay. All right. To save time, I'll just go through what vector search is, right? Vector search is basically when you can structure your data. I'll just try and make it as easy for everybody to understand. You can structure your data in such a way where you can see the relationship between different types of data, right? Semantic search. So simple analogy. A cat and a dog and an elephant. Which is closer to which? Cat and dog, right? Okay, what about a cat, a lion, and a dog? All right. So we know that, right? All right. So the idea with vector search on a database is to structure the data in such a way where these relationships are able to be mapped. And what does that do? When you take AI and then put AI on top of this, it makes the work easier. So that's why when you ask the AI that question, that okay, let me know how many felines, because cats and lions are actually felines. How many felines do we have within a particular database or whatever it is? It can actually go because you can get those similarities between them. Now, real world application. How do we use this? There's so many applications, right? Fraud is an example. This is how AI is able to tell that particular transactions or particular behaviors are similar, right? And because this person has done 20 transactions from multiple locations, he did a transaction from Lagos in 2 minutes, he did a transaction from Maiduguri, the next one was in Hong Kong, there must be something wrong somewhere, right? That's an example. You're searching for a property. You tell AI, oh, give me a property that actually fits this description, and it's able to pull all of that out, right? That's vector search in action. So a lot of these things, you find a lot of value that you can get from it. So that's that. But we built it into different database platforms. There's Oracle database, there's HeatWave, which is MySQL, and the rest, right? PostgreSQL and the likes. And then of course, we now have those different AI services on top of it, right? Gen AI, that's just a fancy name for things like ChatGPT, Gemini, and the rest, right? Which is the most popular use case for AI that we've seen, right? Conversational AI. But beyond that, of course, you see things like code assist. The previous speakers also talked about where organizations are now using, AI to write software code, right? So that's what the likes of code assist does. Vibe coding. Of course, when you do vibe coding and you leave the code, anything your eyes see. Anything without vetting, anything your eyes see, you take it like that. Okay, so we have that speech to text. Of course, anybody that was in the main hall will have seen, speech to text, right? And this is getting interesting. We are going beyond just using English speech to text to we want to start. This is getting to a point where we are now able to get. Okay, what about Yoruba? What about our own pidgin English speech to text, right? And this is very important. All of these things are all linked because that's how you'll be able to ask AI questions in a conversational manner, right? Without being worried if it's actually listening to you or not. How many of us have the experience where I try to use Google Maps and then you are trying to go to Ajangbadi? You now want to use voice command to tell Google that, and then you find yourself on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. So we're getting there, right? We're getting there. There's language, there's vision, there's document understanding, and the rest. If you look at vision, for instance, right, you find out that so many use cases. Today, does anybody watch Formula One racing? Right? Oracle sponsors a team, Red Bull Racing, right? And this is one of those very interesting use cases. On the racetracks, before they actually even get there, sorry. Okay, I thought you had said something. Okay. Before you actually, the race car drivers actually get to the racetrack, they do simulations, right? After the races, they look at the impacts, the effects, things they could have done better. This is how they're doing it. They're using vision. You watch football, you will see it when Opta Joe and the rest of them, when they post those statistics, everybody that is Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea fan, and all of that, right? You see it there. Oh, this person covered 20 kilometers. How are they measuring it? Nobody is following the person around, with a tape rule, measuring how far they went, right? It's AI, it's vision, and the rest of that. So there's so many use cases. Oracle supports all of this, and then we come to our applications. Our applications themselves, right? Built into our Fusion applications, which is what I mentioned earlier, the ERPs, the SCMs, right? The EPM and the likes, NetSuite applications, and then of course we have our agents. So who can tell me what an agent is when it comes to AI? Anyone? All right. Sorry. Can you tell me your name?
Okay, my name is David. Okay, agentic AI, so agents, sorry, are AIs that, they do three things, right? They take a task, they plan it, and then they execute it. And then there are other higher forms of AI agents that are agentic AI. Those ones can adjust based on the task, and they can plan more, and they can add more agents to it to deliver the solution to the task that you give it.
Awesome stuff. Right. So you would agree with me that if you have agents, right, they can make your organization become more intelligent, right? That means they can actually now start doing things for you without you having to stress yourself. So you talked about a number of things. You talked about agents that that maybe carry out predictive tasks. You also talked about agents that carry out productive tasks, so the ones that actually take action on your behalf. And yes, depending on what you're trying to do, you can actually achieve all of that. So let's look at AI. I talked about the database. And this is what I talked about earlier. I talked about vector search, which we described the semantics, the similarity search, right? But beyond that, what Oracle has done, because one question, right, we talk about two issues. We talk about the issue of security, and we talked about the issue of cost when it comes to adopting AI to make your organization more intelligent. One thing is, people forget that at the end of the day, AI, people are doing prompt injections now, right? They're trying to trick the AI, and then AI is also do something that we call hallucinating. And who has actually heard that term, hallucinating? Yeah, where the AI is telling you that Obasanjo is the president of the US with confidence, right? So how do you prevent all of this? The first thing is, people forget that all of this is based on the data. So what Oracle has done is we have a focus. Yes, security when it comes to the AI itself, but you also need to look at security when it comes to the database, the data that the AI is actually connecting to. So that's one of the things that we've done differently. Because of time, I'll try to move a bit faster. Okay, so we have that. We also have the lakehouse now. So in all of this, you have to find a way to be able to aggregate all of this data together, and Oracle provides that platform, right? We have our AI lakehouse where you can bring in structured and unstructured data. So whether it's is tables, it's streaming analytics, whatever it is you want to bring in, you can bring data from whatever source, right? Third-party ERPs, you use any ERP, you can bring all of that data to one point, right? Cleanse that data, make sure that data is actually ready for you to be able to use for whatever the use case is, whether it's analytics, whether it's AI, right? We're providing all of that. We're gonna move it, and we provide this service across different platforms. Apart from our Oracle Cloud, we also provide this on Microsoft Azure, on GCP, on AWS. Okay, so now in terms of the like I talked about, we support different models. One quick question: does anybody know Oracle's AI model? Our LLM. Who wants to take a guess? Don't worry, don't stress yourself. We don't have one. Okay. Why do you think we don't have one? Anybody wants to take a wild guess? Okay.
I think because you don't need to. It's not necessary. Because it's already existing. The ChatGPT, OpenAI, and the likes are building it already. So you can always use the model instead. Why rework and rebuild yours?
Okay, that's a very fair point. Don't reinvent the wheel. But I'll go one step further. The reason why is because one of the main fears people have is we give these guys our data, they use our data to improve their model, right? So if we don't have a model to improve, we don't have anything we want to do with your data, right? So that's part of the reasons. That is actually from a security perspective. So what we've done is we've partnered with leading AI models, right, which are sitting within your infrastructure. So your data is not going anywhere. If you set up an environment, you decide to use Grok, you decide to use Gemini, whatever it is, it's not being sent to X or Twitter. It's not being sent to Google, right? That data is resident within your environment. We don't have anything we want to do. We're a data company, so that's where we started from. So we're not going to breach your data, but we give you that flexibility. You can use whatever models that you actually want to do. So think about that. And then, of course, I talked about all of these different, so we save time. Now, let's talk about agents and what we think is going to happen and how you should be able to help your organization become intelligent. I can see my time is up, but I'm going to use five more minutes. Please bear with me. Unless you guys want me to go. Okay. All right. So agents, right, are going to carry out most of the tasks that we do today. Right. It's not replacing you. It's just going to make life easier for you. Today, you want to do stuff, you have to carry out multiple tasks. But what's going to happen is the vision is you get to a point where you have agents speaking to agents to carry out things for you. So you want to go on a trip. I'm going to the US, right? Plan a trip for me to the US. Your agent is going to, reach out to other agents. One agent will book your hotel. Another one will book your ride. Another one will check if your time you're supposed to take up for your trip. Notify your PA to say, hey, check, maybe move this person's meetings and all of that. And that's what's going to happen. So what we've done is we have agents that are going to connect you to the different models I talked about before, right? And then you also need knowledge sources so that this information is actually grounded. What makes an enterprise using an AI different from an individual? Today, we all have access to AI. Do we all? Yeah. I mean, if you use WhatsApp, your Meta AI is there. WhatsApp, Instagram, it's there. But what's the difference? If you work with X and Sons Limited, when you use the AI as a staff of X and Sons or as a customer, you want responses that are relevant to that organization, not tell you something that is generic over the internet. Now, how do you get to that point? That means you need to train that model, right, to be relevant. And then to make it even better, if you can access the knowledge base, right, that means data that is relevant to that organization. So let's use a bank, for instance. You want to be able to ask a bank for your account balance, and it gives you your account balance, not $30 own or Dangote's own, right? So that means that you need to have access to that database. Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. And then on top of that, it's going to be connecting to other applications and services that exist within that environment. That means your SaaS applications. If you have an application that you're using for HR, an application you're using for procurement, for finance, you should be able to pull that information. That means an executive should be able to go ask questions that will be able to pick up information relevant to all of this and deliver a very concise, accurate result. That's actually what an intelligent organization is going to be able to do. That means you're able to move faster. That means you're able to deliver products and services that are more relevant to your customers. That's what we're going to actually get to. So this is what we're describing, right? The agent is going to be connecting to the database. It's going to be using things like vector search. It's going to be reasoning and then taking actions on your behalf, speaking to what the gentleman over there talked about, right? And then be able to meet the requirements that you have. And you integrate with all the different frameworks, right? Oracle, GCP, AWS, LangGraphQ, and the rest. So the users, the LLMs, the AI, and then of course it's going to be utilizing your enterprise data and your public data to make sure that it gives you the most relevant responses as possible. So this is what it's going to look like, right? And this is when you talked about the different types of agents, right? You're going to have conversational agents that are going to be talking to supervisory agents that will now talk to functional agents that are carrying out different tasks, right? In fact, there was a question on whether they're going to utilize, people are going to use AI or not. ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that it's not your choice. You are going to use AI whether you like it or not. Because there are going to be things that will be happening that AI will be doing that you don't even have an input into, right? So you see all of these utility agents, function agents, they are going to be carrying out these activities on your behalf. So you go to a website that is maybe a travel agent, they are using the AI at the back end, right? You request for flight. Are you using the AI or not? So it's better you get on board than for you to just be a passenger being dragged along. So I have a very short video. We don't have audio.
Agent Hub. It goes way beyond a chatbot, from detecting low inventory to engaging suppliers and even issuing purchase orders. Using my existing single sign-on, I can securely access the data I need across Oracle databases, Fusion applications like ERP, or third-party apps. With secure access in place supported by protocols like MCP, I'll work with 4 AI agents, each with a clear role, collaborating seamlessly together. They are System Observer, Order Orchestrator, Strategic Sourcer, and Communication Specialist. The System Observer agent keeps a constant watch and fires an alert the moment action is needed. When a new alert lands, the Order Orchestrator agent assembles my request: what to buy, how many, where to deliver, and by when, then opens the draft in my ERP system and pulls the approved supplier list. With that list, the Strategic Sourcer agent executes the plan: direct API outreach where available, and seamless email handling via the Communication Specialist, who crafts emails in your chosen tone to stay on brand. As responses come in, my AI agent lines up a clear comparison and a recommendation. Finally, I remain in control. Once the agents have done all the heavy lifting, it's up to me to approve the recommendation. If I say yes, Order Orchestrator creates the order directly in my ERP system. If I say no, the flow stops until the next alert. This is just one example of the powerful solutions I can build with the OCI Generative AI Agent Hub. Learn more at oracle.com/AI.
All right. Thank you. So this is just simple workflow showing you how AI is able to carry out different. You saw that it actually sent the email on your behalf, right? Try to book the order or do all those activities on your behalf, and this is where we're going to get to. So time's up. At the end of the day, why should you look at Oracle Cloud in terms of setting up and your environment, ensuring that your business is intelligent, and then leveraging AI, right? Power, performance, we have everything in terms of the infrastructure that you require. Practical modernization, we do reorganization, whether it's a startup, an existing organization, a legacy organization, we have solutions and services to help you modernize. And cost, right? I didn't get to touch a lot on this, but the ways we ensure that we're able to keep your costs down, right, so that you can actually make the best of your investments as an organization. So that's it majorly. The last thing I was going to talk about, just move forward quickly. I was going to talk about a use case just very quickly. I think this is the last. Yes, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to talk about Uber, right? Uber is a classic example of a large organization that has adopted Oracle Cloud, right? Uber had a very big issue. What was the issue? Their cost, their investment in terms of infrastructure was spiraling out of control at the point. So they needed to actually grab a hold on it and then try and save costs as quickly as possible. And they did that with Oracle Cloud. So they moved their infrastructure to Oracle infrastructure, used our servers, used our object storage, fast connect, and the rest, right? And then the point is that they were able to drive down costs, they were able to become more competitive, right? That allowed them to be able to innovate and on the likes. So the question is, for your organization, what will be your part? What exactly are you planning to do? So I'm here. You can reach out. You have any plans with your organization, whether it's a startup, whether it's you're going to reach out to your own management, whatever it is that you're looking at. Oracle has something for you. Thank you. Okay, so you guys can hear my voice. Yeah.